Good afternoon, Muttonistas. It's another match day in the Club World Cup. I'm following Manchester City here, and after two pretty comfortable games, I think the tournament really starts here. We only got 6 against Ain and 2 against Wydad, which leaves us needing to beat Juventus to top the group. I think that's important because I think it puts us on the softer side of the draw. Can we do it? I'm pretty sure we can. Will the heat stifle us? Who knows? Join me, Muttonistas, for today's Matchday vlog. Okay, Muttonistas, today's featured pub is the Castle Irish pub behind me, some fans behind me, and I'm going to have a couple here. It's an hour and a half before kickoff, so the team news has come out. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, bit of food, couple of pints, off to the stadium. Hi everybody. It is absolutely boiling out there and pretty humid. Well, Philadelphia was bad. I think this is going to be worse. It's going to be harder for the spectators. It's going to be savage for the players. Are we going to get a lot of substitutions? Are we also going to get a poor game? I don't know how the pitch is. I've heard some players at Real Madrid talking about bad pitches. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I am of the opinion that we need to win the group, even if it means that we play Real Madrid. Sure, we'd rather avoid them, but you somehow think that Madrid are going to get that win against Salzburg today, and Al Hilal are not going to score enough to overtake them. So I think we need to win the group. Sure, it would mean a change of scenery if we draw or lose, and it means Miami, but it means the same side of the draw as teams like PSG and Bayern. Anyway, Muttonistas, everything's spread out here in Orlando, so you have to take Ubers everywhere. Had to get an Uber Eats breakfast because of the level of correspondence I've been dealing with, but glad to be settled now in the pub, about to have my first pint. Come on, City. Now, before I get onto the pub and the beer, I mean the fittings here, wow, lovely, all brought over from Ireland. Talking of things being brought over, my first pint has arrived. I'll just let that settle a little bit. And I just thought in the second half against Ain, particularly the first half of the second half, people were not, or the players were not giving it everything. They were sitting on a 3-0 lead, and I think they maybe forgot that 7 makes a difference. If we draw today and get knocked out in the tough part of the draw, well, then that has to be looked back at as the moment. But let's hope we'll win. I hope we can win. I think we should win, but you just don't know in this heat. And in terms of the new signings, well, they've looked good so far, but this is the first real test. Anyway, team news. Ederson starts, and our back four, Nunes, Akanji, Diaz and Ait Nouri. Okay, well, I'm guessing that Pep is still showing faith in Nunes. Maybe he's getting better and better as playing as a converted right back. But the big news is Rodri starts. That is something to be happy about and something, of course, to raise one's glass to. Reinders, Bonano, Savinho, Doku and Marmouche. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, but in Pep we trust. And just to wrap things up on the team news, we've got an incredibly strong bench. Ortega, Bettinelli, Stones, Ake, Haaland, Nico, Gundogan, Race, Gvardiol, Cherki, Kuzanos, Foden, Bob and O'Reilly. From having a squad that I thought was a bit thin a couple of seasons ago, we have got possibly too many players now. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Anyway, Muttonistas, time for the Guinness. Well, the head, I don't know if it's the lighting here. It looks a bit darker than it should be with a tiny bubble in the middle, but the temperature's good. That is a good pint though. That is a creamer for sure. That is very, very nice. And look at the lacing on the outside of the glass. I'll just bring it up there. That is a very, very solid effort. Of course, Muttonistas, I always bring you a food component, and that has arrived in the form of blackened mahi-mahi tacos. And just before I get on to these fish tacos, I could have had sides with them like fries, but I was really, really busy dealing with correspondence today, so I had a couple of croissants and an iced coffee from an Uber Eats takeaway, and this is about all I want for the time being. Anyway, just to go on a little bit more about the football, interesting. Game 1, Doco and Savinho. Game 2, neither of them, and in this game, both of them. Is it to do with the heat, because I believe we'll be in an uncovered stadium, or is it something that Pep spotted about Juventus in terms of dealing with width? Or could it be that he's thinking of two different systems for next year's Premier League and Champions League season, and he wants to make sure that it's been well practiced and drilled before we start that? Well, actually, I like this competition, and I hope he doesn't take too many experiments. Anyway, on to the food. So, as always, Muttonistas, I'll try it au naturel, even though I have two types of Tabasco hot sauce, the green and the red. If I remember correctly, the red is actually hotter than the green. Now, with the green sauce, the less spicy, and of course, everybody has their own way of doing tacos here, with some onion, tomato, cheese, and I think a bit of red cabbage. And finally, with the red Tabasco. Now, Tabasco's a decent hot sauce. There are a lot of Mexican sauces I prefer, but it's okay to serve this purpose. Yeah. Very, very good. And for me, the number one choice when it comes to tacos are fish. I know maybe there are things in Mexico that are a bit more authentic. I think they do have them over there in Mexico. Anyway, it is something that goes quite well with Guinness. And this pint is actually growing on me to the point where I'm going to have a cheeky second before we go to the game. They've got it right here, Muttonistas. Anyway, I am match fit. Come on, City, and I'll see you at the stadium. Oh, before we go, just something I need to add. Some people have been accusing me of lobbing out creamers and absolute creamers everywhere. That's not the case. It's not the case here in America. I would say when there's a big crowd here, maybe if it's borderline, the atmosphere will tip it over the edge. But the atmosphere is part of what a pint is about, going to the pub. I mean, if you don't want the atmosphere, you may as well have a can at home. And I have to say, there's no owner next to me, there's no pressure to give a review, there's no crowd standing behind me waiting on me, my every word. And Muttonistas, I do declare that this is definitely a creamer. I am using a different scale, of course, because what you get in Ireland is better, and I don't want to be ranking every pint as being mediocre here in comparison to Ireland. This one certainly isn't, by the way. I'd say this was a good pint in Ireland without calling it a creamer or an absolute creamer. but for what I get in the States, this is a mighty fine pint. Now, I will see you at the stadium, definitely after this.
Welcome to Florida.
Okay, it's a hot one, stadium, no cover, about 20 minutes to go, and look at that sign behind me, beware of alligators. You know where you are when you see that. Beautiful interplay between Nori and Doku. Well, Juventus had a chance there at the other end, and Doku finished it off just the start we needed, 1-0. But I have to say, some dark clouds gathering, and it's not as hot as Philadelphia. Maybe there's a storm on its way. Dear me, just as we'd gone in front, slackness at the back, conceding possession. Didn't see who was doing it because I had to switch my camera on quickly, but that's the sort of defensive error that was plaguing us at the start of last season. They nearly scored before that. Come on, City, get a grip on it. That was an easy big chance we gave away after working so hard to take the lead. 23 in, and I think they're having an impromptu water break because the free kick struck somebody in the head quite hard in the wall. It was Edison who was responsible for that bad pass. I reviewed the footage. Loads of people going off to get refreshments, coming back as if it were a US sports game, and so the view is a bit challenging here. Well, we got in front of them. It might be hard to do that again here, but let's hope we can. We can't gift opportunities like that to top teams. Well, you usually think Juventus defend better than that, but I question the width. It was needed. Doku for the first one, Savinho involved in the second one, and an own goal. 2-1 City. Don't give the lead away so easily this time.
Eu tô aqui no 11 e 12, mas tá lotado aqui.
Na H?
É H.
É P20 vocês?
Now this is the official water break, which means for the lads around here, of course, a beer break. I'm going to hold off because I don't want to be completely dehydrated in this humid weather.
Sorry, lads.
Whilst we're having the break, something I have observed is the amount of overlapping. I'm loving it. We didn't do this in the past. I'm not quite sure, because I'm having to film, how the defensive difficulties that can cause are being solved. But for the time being, we're getting in behind them just like we used to do, and I'm loving it. Well, it started to rain or drizzle here. I think some of the locals know what's coming. If I miss action, I miss action. The camera's going to get drenched. I am, and my hat is, if I stay out there. Sorry if I miss something.
Why is the
Half-time Muttonistas, Juventus 1, City 2. It's been great stuff apart from that early slot at the back. We've had control of the game, defended well on the whole apart from for that little period. Great teamwork for the first goal with Doku and Aitnori playing some great stuff out on the left. Are we going to get those overlaps of the pass back into our game? Because they've troubled Juventus here for sure. Really sloppy equaliser. We were warned a minute or so earlier and I was thinking, oh no, it's going to be one of those games like we had at the middle stage of last season and in 2016, early 2017, but thankfully we tightened up after that. Another good goal using width on the right, although I think the Juventus defending could have been better for that. And maybe they're a different beast once you take them out of Turin. Again, very important to win this group in my opinion. Okay, all sorts of things could happen in the other group and Real Madrid could finish second in their group, but you'd expect them to finish first, so we really need to win to secure a really good pathway through to the later stages. Come on, City. Didn't see the subs, took me so long just to get to the toilet, no question of a drink, but obviously Haaland's on. If he can't reach that, nobody can. So again, the importance of the fullbacks. Nunes bombing down the right, slotting a great pass over to Haaland, who couldn't really miss. He kind of tried to, but he bundled it in. 3-1 City. This is looking really good. That counter-attacking Juve team, come out and play. Well, I think that's it sorted now. It actually started from a long ball out from Ederson. Savinho managed to wrest control of it, got a nice ball into the middle, and again, after what seemed an eternity, we eventually bundled the ball in. Wow, this is dream stuff, this is. And I think the last touch went to Phil Foden. Obviously I'm filming, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, the screens confirm that it was Foden. So 4-1 City. I think we're in Orlando for a while. Corner came over, cleared and then crossed in at a much better angle. Haaland got ahead to it, good save from the keeper, pinball in there, and then at the edge of the box, Savinho, having been guilty in the past of some horrible misses, hit an absolute creamer in off the post. 5-1 City, this is beautiful stuff. Probably didn't matter, but we fell asleep at the back there, didn't track the runner, and he got a clean run in at goal. 5-2, as I said, really nothing more than a consolation goal. And there is a VAR check as well. I assume it's offside. I mean, if he sneakily handled it, I couldn't see it from this angle, but, well, you know, maybe the City players were trying to play him offside there, maybe successfully, maybe not. The check didn't take long, 5-2. Anyway, who cares? And I'd say the same quality of creamer. It's exactly what I needed, just the ticket. Now, before we talk about the football, I have to talk about the stadium access. It is appalling. The match went on for 90 minutes. My wait to get an Uber and find somewhere where the streets were clear, 100 minutes. That is not good enough, FIFA. What are you doing? So, yes, I don't think FIFA have done well in choosing that stadium. I don't know why they chose that stadium. I have a feeling there are other stadia available, or maybe they're playing other sports at the same time. But I suspect it was probably chosen as a venue because people come on holiday to Orlando and they wanted to tempt people here. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this is just my superstition. The walk round the stadium and the queue to get in, not too bad. We weren't funneled away as I was at full time, but I have to say the toilet facilities and the beverage facilities are insufficient, inadequate. I suspect it's because when American sports are played there, people are going up and down, out of their seat, in and out all the time. Of course, they couldn't handle the half-time rush. I just about managed to have a quick Jimmy before the second half started, having spent most of the half-time break queuing to go. Anyway, enough hammering of FIFA and the stadium. What about the match? Wasn't that good, Muttonistas? It was really good, that was. I haven't seen City play as well as that for a long time now. Appropriately, in the Citrus Bowl, we actually squeezed Juventus. Great press. They couldn't get out of it too well. And some of the play going forward with Nunes as the right back, Nouri as the left back, with lots of overlapping. Wow, didn't that work well? I suspect, actually, the key to all this is actually Rodri, because we got him to bust up counter-attacks. We didn't have anybody of his quality before that. And I think Guardiola was holding back the full-backs a little bit in the end, or at the end and beginning, I think, of last season, terrified of the counter-attack. So I think we're getting back to where we were, in fact getting our mojo back, because we cut behind them so many times, squared those low crosses in, created havoc in the Juventus defence, who probably, it's fair to say, didn't have their best day. I did wonder why the width had come back in droves in terms of both the fullbacks and Doku and Savinho, but Guardiola knew what he was doing there. This did work a treat. In fact, I think that's one of Savinho's best games. Not only did he get behind the Juventus defence to cross balls in, what a perler of a goal he scored. I mean, I've seen him miss so many good opportunities. It was such a refreshing change to see him whack one into the top corner and down off the bar. I suppose we had the odd defensive blemish. Ederson, what was he doing? And when it went 1-1, I thought, oh no, not again. Is this going to be like one of these 3-3 draws or 3-2 losses where we outplay the opposition and just gift them goals with silly mistakes at the back? But thankfully, we did settle down after that. So at the end of all this, it means we have to play in Orlando again. I thought I'd prefer staying here to Miami, but I have to say, that stadium, I'm not a fan of it. And if Real Madrid don't win this afternoon, then it looks as if we'll be playing Real Madrid. If they do win, then we will be playing probably Al Hilal from Saudi Arabia. And we've got a very good draw. So I eagerly await the result of that match. I don't eagerly await trying to escape that stadium again. Let's see if it's 100 minutes again. But I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to try more of the cuisine here at the castle. Maybe a bit more Guinness, maybe the Irish stew, maybe the shepherd's pie. But until the next one, Muttonistas, from here in Orlando, please remember, keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing, but most of all, don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.